on the panel, we continue, so to say, deepen the debates from the... This is called sabotage. I think the battery is out. The battery might be out. This one doesn't work either. Perfect, perfect. So next time it doesn't work, you just stand up and we get the mic back. We started already in the panel one discussing the transfer zones and railway stations, and then different approaches of civil society to dealing with not refugee crisis but with movement of people back in 2015 and 2016. And we are going to continue with a very interesting setup on the panel. We have 6 colleagues from the civil society from 6 different countries. We have, first of all, and I'm just going to briefly introduce my panel. Teja Vidovic on my far right side, even though she comes from the Center for Peace Studies in Zagreb, so no ideological connotations. Teja from Croatia, thank you so much for joining us. And I've been following the work of Center for Peace Studies for a long time, and I know that you are doing a lot of good work, so we are looking forward to your intervention on the panel. Then we have Fabrizio, he's hiding behind Bojan. Fabrizio is joining us from Trieste. We just discussed, I mean, a former Yugoslav city, obviously. No, these are bad socialist dictatorist jokes. We don't use them. Bojan is, not Bojan, Fabrizio is joining us from Trieste. They have invested a lot of interesting, a lot of time in very important work in this border region between Trieste and Slovenia. And thank you so much for joining us on a last minute ticket, so to say, from Trieste. Then Bojan Brština from Bosnia.
I wouldn't go so far. Herzegovina.
Herzegovina, yes.
It's sort of important.
General Bosnia discussion. Bojan is. I mean, he got used to be and to live in Sweden, even though no, it's fine, huh? You have to stand in the lines and queues and so. But Bojan will. I mean, we had this very interesting input from Sweden on the first and the second day, and many colleagues from Linköping and Uppsala joining us in a debate precisely in Austria, where many comparison lines have been drawn between Austria and Sweden. It will be quite nice to hear your views on that. Then we have Micha Naubergoy from Legal Informational Center for Non-Governmental Organizations. Micha is coming from the organization with the longest name on the panel.
This is a very short acronym, PIC.
PIC, okay, PIC, perfectly. Ljubljana, Slovenian experience, and we have been partly, even though Austria is not quite interested in following closely what's happening in the closest neighborhood, but what happened on this so-called Western Balkans route and what happened on Šentilj, etc., during the peak of the refugee flow. At that time, there was a huge interest in Austria, for example, concretely for Slovenia. But your work in the civil society sector has a bit of you have a kind of different perspective on it than usually the states like Austria and Slovenia have. Then we have we just met, but we have a feeling that we are very close friends. Driton Malici from Legis Skopje. And as you probably know, the Austrian Minister for Foreign Affairs just recently, a few days ago, went to Skopje to praise the authoritarian government of Gruevski for closing the borders. So, Driton, it will be very interesting and important to hear from you what has happened in that time and how you and your organization were standing at the frontier of we will then discuss what. And last but not least, Fernando Vasco Chironda? Chironda, yeah, I have to learn that one. October 3rd committee from Rome. Fernando, thank you so much. And Italy is still one of the quotation marks hotspots, and we know that there is a very active civil society scene and activist scene in Italy, and we are looking forward to your input. So we will not have any kind of presentations, but I just want to kick off the discussion with a very simple question, and we will start with Thea. Just a few sentences. Your organization, the peak of the so-called crisis, and what was it for you? How hard was it? Just in briefly, to give as a kind of a first impression, how was it really a kind of a crisis? What was that kind for momentum? And how were your organization, how did your organization deal with this peak of the so-called constructed refugee crisis?
Hello to everyone. Thank you for inviting me as a representative of Center for Peace Studies.